Right, so do you want to read it out, and then obviously if I can think of any changes, I'll stop and then feedback, and then you can tweak it before next week. Yeah.
I'll just
Have you had
start
any Zooms with anybody else yet?
No, I haven't, because last week I was due to have one with Alistair.
Yeah.
And that same day that I was supposed to do that, the screen went bust on my phone, so I've had to buy a new one.
Well, you crack on. You fire away, yeah.
Crying like a schoolgirl on my back doorstep, feet away from the toilet that I spent a lot of time in, but we'll get to that. I just want to be rid of this nasty little affliction.
Okay, let's just pause it there.
Yeah.
Let's just pause it there. Now, this is really good, right?
Yeah.
This is really good. I mean, I love the little narration that you've done there.
Yeah.
But because where does that come from, the toilet thing?
And that's where I've spent most of my time growing up, through the alcoholism.
You could take us to a scene where you take us to a time and then take us back to the beginning and then continue with the narrative from the beginning, from take about is great up to now. There's a couple of little tweaks you could make it better with. We don't want people to know what your life was like yet. You could call back to that time when your man was getting beaten up, and it was like my life was like a toilet.
Don't start with that.
No, don't start with that, but build it in, because I like it. Tell us a story.
Well, it's given that that's where I spent all of my time, and it was where my mum happened to be beat up. So it was difficult sort of trying to gel the two. She was pregnant with me at the time.
You want a story that you've got of yours.
Yeah, I think I got carried away with that bit, to be honest. And that's
right.
Where I was on my knees, crying out to God. Perhaps maybe scrap the toilet analogy,
yeah.
But
yeah,
then I'm sort of at a loss really for how to gel past, present and future sort of thing.
It could involve one of her boyfriends. I wouldn't spend too much time on that, because the way you've just articulated your story from the start is really good, right? It was a Saturday afternoon and I was in the room, and the next minute I locked myself in this cupboard, but that was it for me, or whatever.
Keep it a little bit more personal.
We're going to get then to see why you ended up becoming like you became. Right, okay, so this is what led up to him being that,
Yeah.
And because you're very articulate, you are very good at writing, just from what I've heard. So your narrative is great. With your story, from going back to the beginning, this is again separate from the captivating story, where somebody said something to you and then you say, I didn't say anything back because I didn't say that much.
Adds personality
to it, 100%. I don't want to change any of your writing from when you go back from the beginning to where I've stopped you.
Yeah, there's loads of them, so I won't struggle to find anything juicy to put at the beginning.
So for now, start finding a new captivating story. Forget the toilet thing. You might want to use that later on if you want to, but I don't think you need to. You're in your room and your mum's kicking off next door or something like that.
Yeah.
Another scenario where you was in the toilet throwing up. We call it a callback. Then call back to it later on.
My mum almost died of liver failure. This is where I was thinking it was a little bit too past focused. But as soon as I seen her looking frail and weak and vulnerable, all the anger and resentment just fell away. Not my mother, not a woman, just a human suffering alone. That's where I bring in my alcoholism from that point.
How old were you when you started drinking, mine? When did that when you saw your mum?
I was 17.
Right. Was you drinking before that?
On and off at weekends and things. Sort of, it's because it was all I'd known, if that makes sense. From the time that I sort of, a responsibility was lifted because my mum was well. It was like it's like all that weekend drinking sort of turned into more than just weekends gradually.
But once I saw that my mum was well, that changed everything. Started to drink even more. I don't mention God until God becomes part of my life, if you know what I mean, of like the escalation of your madness.
All right, yeah, to make the notes later on.
Make your notes, yeah.
All right, so my 20s then, that's where everything sort of started to go south. Somewhere along the line, I developed a drinking problem that I was in total denial about, and sneaking around, that was the point of sneaking and hiding bottles of whiskey and things like that.
Yeah.
That's where you know you've got a problem in it, when you start
Yeah.
hiding stuff. And the 3 daughters that I now had to feed, because somehow, in the midst of all this, I'd managed to have kids, because I despised authority, which was cute for a bit, but it gets old, and I kept getting shown the door if I didn't quit first. And my kids have heard and seen far more than I would have liked them to. But time is a hero, and I've got faith that by God's grace. So I'll leave that out.
I had a bunch of people in there, like who from our kind of backgrounds, like 20 people in there. So I would get God in, but that was at the end. And so faith was always kind of around her in her culture. Well, for me, it wasn't. This new life that it's been part. You know what I mean? If we want to get this tight, and we want to get it so that people can sit through it and listen.
Yeah, deliver the story as it is. Keep God out of it for the time.
Yeah, the time's a great healer. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a familiar statement as well.
It is.
Watching some video about Jesus. So I'll leave that out. Makes no sense, does it?
Makes no sense. No. So, is this where the faith thing starts?
I was sort of toying with it, but at that time, if I'm honest, I weren't all in. Around when I started to realise that I shouldn't be hiding whiskey bottles in the cupboard and stuff.
That's the point when I started to look up.
Yeah.
And I was searching before I actually found.
This is where the please help me, you've got to take this away from me sort of thing was coming from, where I'm talking to the cloud.
Have you put that dialogue in?
That's in there, a bit of dialogue.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
It was a prayer without me realising it was a prayer. So I thought I had to write that down.
You could say that as well. I like that. I called out for help. Something like that, because that's quite a cool. People do that all the time, don't they? I used to do it. You know what I mean? I was getting chased by the police. God help me, you know what I mean? But it's literally it's a prayer, isn't it? It's a prayer. I always got caught. I never answered it, but still. So no.
And they also said, funnily enough, is like, that's your testimony.
Can imagine, you see, hiding bottles, living in denial, and then you sit down and you call out to God, help me.
I was literally crying, snot bubbles and everything.
Yeah. Do that. Tell us about that then.
I looked up at the clouds and I said, I love you, for some reason.
Wow.
Stiff upper lip and all that. And I went back to bed. And I went to my stash in the cupboard where my whiskey was, and they got the beers out of the fridge. All I wanted to do was just tip them away. So I went into the toilet.
Wow. So, okay, Martin, this is brilliant. Only 6 o'clock.
Make a bit of a physical thing with it.
Yeah. What am I? 6 o'clock. I never get up at that time.
Yeah.
You know. And then so I just got up and then go and get your beer out of the fridge and your whiskey out of your cupboard. Brilliant. This is ace. Carry on.
I went into that toilet, which is where this theme was coming from, if that makes sense now.
Right.
No, sorry, the beers first. I opened the beers first. 1 can, boss, 2 cans. I had 3 cans left, so down they went. In that toilet with me, which I can only attribute to the Holy Spirit now. Till the last drop of that whiskey hit the toilet bowl, then it left.
Wow.
It was like this.
That's so good.
And that was it. The alcohol was gone. This entity, whatever it is, that was gone. To see me do it, and to tell me like, it's done. And I was doing it with a smile on my face. I weren't sulking and going, gotta get rid of it.
Obviously, you'll articulate that in less words. That is a powerful moment.
Much more coherent.
I would so link them together there.
Yeah, just
it's important. Now I know what the toilet means to you. Yeah. Because you've had your God encounter in the toilet. Keep it in, because the toilet is an important place for you. Because that's where you had your encounter with God, which is the most important part of your narrative. But now you're meeting God in there.
Yeah. But that was so beautiful about the whole thing. So that's why I sort of got fixated on put toilet in, to toilet.
Wow. Carry on after that, mate. This is good.
God had done what I later found out he said he would do. And he sent his comforter, because that's what this thing. Felt like I was comforted.
Because in part 2 of the training, you could use this stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be part of your message, I think. You know, word it how you want to word it. Until that last drop of alcohol went into the water.
I've called it the conclusion to years of suffering. But maybe that's a bit extreme.
You could. I like that line. I felt like it was the conclusion to years of suffering. I like that because you've talked about some of your madness. Well, you've talked about your madness. You've got to the point where you've called on God, and then you've got up in the morning early, gone for your booze, poured it down the toilet, had this experience, and I felt like this was the conclusion to years of suffering and madness. It's like you encountering God. That's a conclusion to all of that shit that I've just been through.
Yeah.
Over the years. Carry on from there, Martin.
Then I go on to just thank God, to be honest. Saying he reached into my situation, and I've got a bit preachy with it. I've gone, like he will to you. Because you said actually in the outline.
You're going to do that. That'll be in the second part.
I realised alcohol was never the problem and is never the problem. It was me. Okay,
so let me just give you some pointers on what to do next. Okay. So that was your God moment. What happened after that?
Physical change.
That needs to be mentioned.
I tried to explain it because I didn't. Everyone saw a physical difference. I don't know if my eyes looked sparklier or any of that. And my life was dramatically improved. I'm proactively approaching things that I never would have done. You know, I normally shy away from. So like this today, talking to you now.
Yeah.
I'd have made some sort of cock and bull excuse to not take this call. And now I'm just saying yes to everything.
I'm saying yes to things that I would say no to. I've become more confident and I'm saying yes to things that I would say no to. So now you're telling us what's changed about you, because this is what we want to hear, the change. This change bit.
Lots of stuff on the spot. I can't sort of articulate it. What
if you go away and think about it though. So you've talked about the God thing, and then you talked about things that have changed. Yeah. So it's before change, during change, and after change. Since my life has changed, I've done this, and this. You got changed in a toilet, yeah?
Yeah.
Since then.
Primarily, I've become a father. I mean, I've always that. The eldest is 17, and I've got a 9 and 8-year-old. But I've never, during all the alcoholism, it's just in total honesty, I wasn't a father of any description. I was just in the room. So I've spent a lot of time since finding God, you know, on doing that. A lot of energy into being a dad.
Mention that as well. All that is important. I am a father of 3 girls. You know, so I've invested a lot of time and energy in trying to undo wasted years, if that makes sense. Mention that. Whatever captivating story you start with, you're going to finish by saying, I'm going to land this now at the place where we started, and finish with a positive line.
Oh, yeah, so, no doubt, yeah.
Who'd have thought that right now I'd still be standing to tell the story because the big man's got my back?
Yeah.
So it's trying to find a little positive line.
So it's the same story, but with another spin on it.
Yeah. One day, he's been grafting with his missus. He comes out and he bumps into his son, who he's not seen for 15 years. His son's now got a job. I gave him the feedback because he wasn't landing with the same story he started with. And he went away and thought, because again, like you, he's quite a good writer when it comes to got a bit of rhyming in his language, you know what I mean? So if you go away now, Martin, and do some work on it, and then clear up for another Zoom, and we'll get back on. We want to get another Zoom in before you come to college next week.
Based on this now, I've got a definite, clear idea of, one, what it is that we're aiming at.
Yeah.
And 2, what bits are just wasted energy, but you know, in terms of delivering it, condense it a little bit, and then expand on the bits that you've said towards the end there, the changes that have occurred going forward.
The change, the change. And you're talking about you becoming a dad that you've not been. You was never in the room, but now I am in the room. Oh, that is massive, man. it depends, because we're not 100% sure who's speaking at Fix yet, to be honest.
All right, okay.
It depends on how good you are, basically.
The caliber of the stories, isn't it?
Yeah. Your starting point now, not starting point, you've already started. Your next steps, make those changes, come back onto a Zoom, let's get it more polished. Fixed date till September.
Have it speech ready, deliverable.
Yeah. And looking at what you've already said, I wouldn't rule you out. If you make those changes as soon as you can.
I'll be working on it today, that's the...
Yeah. Email Claire as soon as you can. Say you want another Zoom, and then we'll get a Zoom in as soon as I can. You'll be coming with it like, got this.
I know it.
Yeah, I know it.
Where do you find the time, Barry? It seems like you...
Well, no, the thing is, remember, this is my job.
Because you seem to be somewhere every day.
And I've been going through a message that I'm working on.
Yeah.
Speaking it out while I'm just having a shave. Don't start internalising until you're happy with it, because it's harder to change.
Oh, of course,
Once you've rehearsed something, it's harder to unrehearse and then relearn. And then I do fixed. Then after fixed, I start to work on that new talk.
Yeah.
But so I've got I planned things in. I've not used it yet, but the one I'm currently working on, I finished it before I went on holiday a few weeks ago. Right. That's always my plan. You know.
Yeah, sometimes that's invaluable information. That. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing I maybe wouldn't have done. Thinking I might have spent time worrying, going, I need to be rehearsing. But I could be doing it now.
So there is time. But it's kind of using your time wisely.
Yeah, and it's given that with it being a little over, is it a week, 2 weeks? Yeah, I've got time.
Yeah, you have.
What I've got to focus my energy into is remembering this.
Remembering it, yeah. Early next week. We could aim for Tuesday if you wanted.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the sooner we've gone back over it, and you're happy with it, I'm happy with delivering it and whatnot. Then I've got enough time. Then I've got 6 days to get that.
6 days. Yeah.
I've gone.
Yeah. So it's always this bit that's going to be the most used anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the fundamentals, isn't it? It's the beginnings of your story coming to fruition.
So we try and do everything with purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So it's not just we try and make something out of it. So it's not just about it is about getting you to tell your story well. But what else can we do? You know, so you're in a place where you can turn up at an event and speak.
It's one of them. For me, it's been the impression I've had the whole way through is, as long as I'm walking in obedience and say yes to things, proceed where I otherwise wouldn't have. Something will come of it, regardless of how
rebuilding. That's great. That's ace, man. I love that, because that's rebuilding, isn't it? That's rebuilding.
Of course,
and it's rewiring your thinking as well. So when we talk people in recovery, it's rewiring our thinking, because we think a certain way when we're in the madness, and when we start doing that and saying yes and doing stuff, it changes the way we live.
It does, yeah.
Which is you're recovered, aren't you? You're recovering.
You're equipped well enough mentally. It's bewildering.
Yeah. So Martin, go away, get cracking, and then email Claire and we'll get a Zoom arranged for next week.